I'm a fucking mess. You're still spineless. I'll get over this. You gotta
Welcome, woo, everybody.
Yeah,
It's a terrible
Very,
word.
very special. Very special.
Graham
It's a
just hit us with a
specialist.
fucking woo like from the fucking Iron Claw, dude. That was a bad woo.
That was a bad woo.
That was a bad woo. Woo.
I am stoked. I put out a well. Let's hear what's
Welcome
going on.
to another goddamn horror podcast. I am one of your hosts. I'm Ryan Danley, coming to you from Portland, Oregon. Coming to you from East Portland, very East Portland, also known as Bushwick, Brooklyn. Welcome, Jonas Barnes.
What's up? What's up? Yes, it is very, very Eastern Portland. It's so far Eastern Portland.
Right. I mean, it's so far east that it's cooler. Graham, coming to you from Flatbush is what, southeast of Bushwick, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's
Southwest.
Southwest
Southwest?
is
Yeah.
southwest. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
just trying to like southwest of Bushwick.
Yeah,
The
no,
goddamn
I-
geography podcast again. Here we
Yep.
go.
Yeah. No, today I'm so excited. I even sent out a reel about it. We're doing the Danzigs today. This is my favorite time of year, actually.
The goddamn Danzig.
Is when it's not because it's the fucking first. It's because it's the goddamn Danzigs. I do want to talk about real quick the reel I sent out. I said we didn't listen to you guys, our listening audience, but that's not true. We actually listened to this whole thing is about you guys and us trying to spread our joy and you listening to it and just listening to us, and we really super appreciate that, and we really super appreciate the Army of the Goddamned. And we're gonna try something new right now. I'm gonna list them off. The fucking best Patreon group on the internet. We're going with just first names.
I feel like it's a new change for 2024.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just go in with just
And if
first name.
if you'd like your full name read on air, just hit me up and I will do that. But from now on, we're going first names. Unless otherwise asked. So this year, starting it off, we got Michael, Drew, Stephanie, Katie, Chris Fortune. Oh, crap. Chris, Alan. Sorry, Chris. Bacon or Bacon Bits. Or the cat. I'm not sure.
I feel like Bacon Bits is actually going to be the one that complains to
Yeah.
us about the full name.
Full name.
Yeah.
Jasmine, Jason, Jake, Mom, Ron, Kristen, Manny, Coleman, Ryan, Jared, Michelle, and Brandon. Y'all fucking rule. This is for you.
Absolutely.
Love it.
It is.
And before we get the festivities going to the Danzigs today, I just want to say we do have a Patreon. Please go check it out. We have everything from a $1 tier, thank you tier, all the way up to 20, which gets you, big thumbs up from us. And we have a lot of premium content coming this year on our Patreon. So please, sign up, help us out with this.
You guys are going to get some of the extra fucked up episodes with me because I'm going to do the Grindhouse on there with really fucked up movies.
Yep.
Like it's
If
really
you like to
fucked
feel
up movies.
shitty about yourself and everyone else,
No, we're going to make it funny though. We're going to make it funny for the super fucked up movies. Like for the sickos out there, that's what the Grindhouse is going to be for.
the real
Like,
sickos. I love it.
It's going to be ones that like the real gnarly shit. I can't wait to do more of those. Those are going to be fun. I have to mention this now just because we're talking about it. I threw it out to my roommate, fucking artist, comedian, musician, Freddie. He's my roommate. He's going to be doing one of the first episodes of the new Grindhouse role. The movie we're doing is Dead Girl. And man, you guys are in for a fucking fun one with that because that movie's nuts. And I remember I threw it out to him. I was like, "Hey, Freddie, you want to do a Grindhouse episode about Dead Girl?" He just went, "Yeah, I do." It was one of those, so it's gonna be good shit.
Cool. Well, with no further interruption, did a little housekeeping, did a little things. Are you all ready for this?
Yeah.
For the Danzigs, Are we ever truly ready for the Danzigs?
I don't know if we're ready for the Danzig Awards. Let's get going. What's the first category, Graham?
First category is television.
Television, and I'm going to take this category.
Goddamn television show of the year.
Goddamn television show of the year. First off, let's start with Dragula. Dragula was our winner last year. Huge fan of this season. It's been really great. We've been fortunate to have Dragula winners on our show. Shout out
Dragula judges.
Dragula judges. Shout out to Bitch Puddin' and Peaches Christ for their time at it. So Dragula, big fan every year. Please tune in. It's super good. You find it on Shudder. Second show that we have offered today is The Swarm, or just called Swarm. It was on, I believe it was on FX. It was, another Daniel Glover thing. It had a similar tone to Atlanta, I'd say, and it's very good, good with about a serial killing badass. Kind of a fictionalized version of Beyonce fan. Absolutely fantastic.
The Beehive.
Yeah, the Beehive or the Swarm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so absolutely good. And then lastly, I have to be one of what I consider one of the best comedy shows of all time. Like the we did what we did. The last one is What We Do in the Shadows, which is absolutely so good. The acting, the writing, everything.
Announced their final season.
And I think probably the best of what I would consider all the Monster Family shows. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, the winner of the best goddamn television show of the year is Swarm.
Oh, underdog coming through.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is the biggest of them. Swarm is absolutely fantastic. It was one of my favorites. It's a comedy horror. It was created by Janine Neighbors and Donald Glover. It stars Dominique Fishback as she loses her sister and goes through and becomes a serial killer. And it's absolutely fabulous, and please check it out. So congratulations.
Really feel like it was slept on.
Yeah, it really was. I think that it really,
I think that's also one of the reasons, like when we were talking about this, I feel like that's one of the reasons that one, kind of takes it for us, because it was slept on. It was so good. And, What We Do in the Shadows at this point is one of the greatest shows of all time.
It's an institution almost.
And obviously Dragula, Dragula kind of speaks for itself.
My personal favorite, but I do understand it's reality. So it has some hits, but when you're bringing drag and horror, kind of outshines all of that.
Yeah. And then you got Swarm coming in, as the one that slept on. It's just such a good show.
Such a great show. I've actually watched it again, and it's actually better the second time. And that brings us to goddamn villain of the year, Jonas.
That's going to be mine.
This is a good one.
Villain of the year. And if you guys have been watching horror for 2023, you know that there is a lot of villains that were coming out of that one.
This was a tough list to compile, to be honest.
This was real tough.
This one really was. So this one, the first one we're doing is going to be Mommy. And that's going to be from Evil Dead Rise. And that's Alyssa
Sutherland. Yeah.
So that one, man, Evil Dead Rise, talking about one that also that's a movie that was kind of sticking out for a while. People were waiting for it. That was one that really people were chomping at the bit to see. And then Alyssa Sutherland comes through and just absolutely smashes it straight from the trailer all the way through the movie. And then we got one that also people have been waiting for a long time. We got Dracula. We got the big bad. We got the fanged one. We got Nicolas Cage.
I think a Nick Cage Dracula is the only way Dracula was going to make this list.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And also Nicolas Cage, you could tell that he was having fun playing the part.
He was having fun.
He was crushing it as Dracula. And then lastly on this one, we got Clara, which is Georgia Aiken from The Sacrifice Game.
Yeah,
which was also a fantastic late entry.
Yeah, I loved her as the girl there, and yeah, she just held. People said that movie was kind of corny and predictable, and I think
People were also
they're
wrong.
yeah, I think
Like,
they're mixing up like well written and fun.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
That
Also,
shit was so good.
Sacrifice Game was a late entry Christmas movie. That's a new Christmas horror, you know?
Yep.
Like, so we got that shit going on too. But with no further ado, the winner of the goddamn villain, Danzig, is Mommy from Evil Dead Rise.
Yep.
Hottest
We gotta
deadite.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'll tell you what, man, from the time that trailer came out and she delivered that line that hooked me, Mommy's with the maggots now. I was just like, holy shit. I was right there. I was immediately sold. And then when you see the movie too, man, what Alyssa Sutherland brought to that part was just, it was so good. Everything from the facial expressions to the like contortionism that she did herself. Like she did her own contortions in the movie. That's crazy. And dedication to the part.
Yeah, her performance, that movie made me forget about Ash, which is exactly what I want Evil Dead to do.
Yeah.
Especially if it's continuing on as a franchise, which see that?
Mm-hmm.
What's up next? Goddamn franchise of the year. I'm the king of transitions.
How the fuck are you not the comedian out of the group? Like,
Yeah.
come on. You and your transitions over here.
That's all I can do in transitions. I'm not funny.
He's all premise.
I'm a non sequitur comic, so I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Franchise of the year. We got Evil Dead Rise. Because holy shit, man. Like for that movie, they have not done a bad, really anything yet.
No,
not at all.
Saw X, which saw sort of a return to form, kind of in a way. It was a weird prequel to everything after 2, I guess.
It was
in between.
It was in between 1 and 2,
right?
And it was the first Saw in the franchise to truly focus on John Kramer as like a character.
And it was in Mexico, so it was a Mexican Saw, which I really it makes it kind of my favorite Saw. I think. Yeah. I thought this was super fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Absolutely.
And then we also have Hell House LLC Origins, which like bringing a franchise together like that, like arcing over that, is just awesome. Because I love the first 3 a lot, but by the 3rd I was ready for maybe a new direction for the director. And then when I found out he was doing Hell House still, I was like, all right, we'll see. It was the Origins. It was just as scary. It was fucking shot super well. I loved it. There was enough from the original ones to link them and stuff, but fucking awesome.
And also,
awesome
who the fuck saw that coming? Like, who saw Hell House LLC Origins coming through? In 2023, like I didn't. So
all right,
it's got a proper Halloween release too. Anyway, and so the winner is, and this went back and forth. Hell House LLC Origins.
Goddamn right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stephen Cognetti, who has done all these things, was on the show not too long ago, and he's a really cool guy. And I got to give him credit. Is like. He's done this all himself. And, I think not enough love is given to the independent franchise. You know what I mean? Like, and like done at a level that like, even people who are, even in the brutal world of horror judgment, most people like the Hell House movies. They can be a little harder on the second and third one, blah, 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 blah. But like the Hell House movies are pretty universally liked. You know what I mean? And then also the Hell House LLC Origins,
fucking dope.
Pretty people pretty much loved it. It was back to the good original formula. If you want to check out our episode with him where he discusses that, like that is absolutely fantastic. Hell House LLC is a great franchise, independent franchise. Why we're here doing this, and boy, is that a great
yeah.
Goddamn right.
Love it.
So shout out to Stephen Cognetti and good job, man. Thank you for
congratulations.
For making good fucking scary house movies. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Which brings me to book of the year. I
That one's all
chose
you, buddy.
Yep. I'm a reader.
You are.
I
You're
got
the bookworm of the
I
three of us.
got the reading thing done. Fever House by Keith Rawson.
Yeah.
It was really
So
just
I
one
just started it.
Yeah,
It's really great.
if you are a fan of noir and crime stories and like gangster stuff, and then like espionage and assassins and horror, if you're not a fan of all three of those things, you probably aren't a fan of this podcast. So I'm just saying,
Or you
like,
just like the slob.
yeah, exactly. It's just like, well, the slob's great too, but this book covers it all. Keith is a really nice guy. He sends his regards and deep felt thanks about it. He has COVID currently and was going to send in a thing, but hasn't been able to. So we just want a big shout out to Keith and his book. It's absolutely fantastic. Please check out Fever House. It is the first in a beginning part of a series, and the second book, which I believe is called The Devil by Name, is coming out later this year. So a big shout to Keith Hawson, and maybe keep out. Maybe Keith has agreed to do the show soon. Maybe he hasn't, but one way or another, Fever House. Check it out. And that brings us to greatest wrestler. Yes,
the goddamn wrestler of the year.
Best
goddamn wrestler of the year. Favorite guy, whatever. My personal favorite.
What about me? I wrestle my demons every day. Does that count?
Yeah, but you don't have like cool. Well, you do.
Is it because I lose? Because I lose too often?
maybe because
it's actually in wrestling language, Ryan. It's because you have to bring in a foreign object to defeat them every time. So
exactly.
No, my guy's win-loss record actually is 86%. Only losing 9 times this year. And I'm gonna guess a lot of those were in mixed tags, because he's been the continental champion, intercontinental champion, international. That's it. Thank you. The international AEW champion for a long time. He was the record-breaking holder of that belt, and then he lost it, but then immediately got it back and has just been killing it. He doesn't turn down matches. That's Orange fucking Cassidy. He is my favorite wrestler. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. He's the goddamn best. And he's legit. Like, people hated him when he first came in because of his whole shtick, which is basically, I don't care about wrestling or anything really.
He's very chill.
Now he's like one of the greatest wrestlers that AEW has ever produced. And the most consistent, I think. So big shout out. Nothing to do with horror, but I needed to make Ryan squirm a little.
Yeah.
You know what though?
Or just check my phone. One or the other.
Also, you know what though? This is funny because if we had Orange Cassidy send in an acceptance thing for the Danzig, it would basically just be him going like, "All right, cool, thanks guys." All right.
Yeah.
Here's the Danzig. Like it would be very cool. He would be very chill about it. That's going to bring over to our directorial debut, which is that one's for me, guys. Directorial debut was another hard one because there were some bangers this year from people that were first-time directors of features. And first one, we got the Filippo brothers, who had been directing YouTube videos and like shorts, but like mostly just YouTube videos and stuff. And they were the directors of the absolutely fucking phenomenal Talk to Me.
It really was. I saw that late. I just saw it recently, and
talk about a movie to come out with your first one. You know,
yeah.
Really came out of the gate on that one. Ryan, you were a huge fan of Talk to Me this year, especially.
I really feel like Talk to Me was, I mean, it could be on almost every one of these lists. I was a huge fan of every, I think Talk to Me is like my kind of horror movie. It had like pop sensibilities, but it was still kind of grungy and still kind of rough. And it was I mean, like, is it an original concept? Kinda, you know what I mean? Like
A little bit, yeah.
It's a pretty fucking original concept.
Yeah, and
That ending is my second favorite ending of the year by far.
Yeah, I think, you know what I mean. They really stuck to the ending, and you really kind of saw it come full circle. And no spoilers, but like, I mean, like the movie's great, and it's just a good, solid horror. And I mean, there's some brutality in it. There's some like I mean, tenacious evil. You know what I mean? Like it's all the things that we love. And yeah, like I love Talk to Me. So so as a director,
like I said, for first time directors though, that's like, yeah, what a fucking movie to come out with your first one, you know?
yeah,
So
exactly.
the Philippo brothers are just the first nominee on that one. The second nominee, we got Gabriel Beer Gaslasson for Attachment, which is another one that also fucking, for a first movie, come on, like that was phenomenal.
An Attachment is just like, I mean, like it just kind of hits you right in the space. Yet again, another like just like pure horror that like is just so near and dear to my heart. Like it's not big over the top shit. It's not big like, hey, listen, I like the Pope's Exorcist as much as anybody. You know what I mean? Like I will defend that horror. I will. It's like it is what it is.
I'm smiling because I like fat Russell Crowe trying to get a demon out of somebody.
Yeah, so, exactly. Like I like Pope's Exorcist. I think it's a fine movie and stuff like that. Does it? I try to meet horror where it's at, and is it good for what it's trying to do? Sort of speaking, you know what I mean? Like I think it's good to go in with a clean slate on those things. And is this good for what it is? And you know, and I gotta say though, like a movie like Attachment, it just hits me like right at my core of like what I want from a horror movie. It's just good. Is it has is it a twist? I don't know if it's a twist a little bit, but I mean, but like it's just good enough. Like it's just like a good solid like horror flick, and that's what we're looking for in this world, right? We just want good horror,
just good solid horror.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to our third nominee for this one, which is again, for the first movie, we got Bomani J's Story, and that is for the angry black girl and her monster. And again, holy shit, like this was such a hard category to narrow down, because it's like these movies were not only good on their own, but also just as a person directing these films for their first time as their first movie, like it's kind of unprecedented. Like we had a really good 2022 for horror, but 2023, man, they're like, I've heard some people say that 2023 was a little soggy for horror, and I don't know what the fuck they're looking at, because like you got movies like this coming out with first time directors. I mean, come on.
And I mean, like, and you just want to talk about, let's just announce who the winner is.
It's Bomani J's Story for the angry black girl and her monster.
Yeah, because I just want to talk about it more. Like, you can say what you want about 2022, but 2023 brought depth and gravity in a movie. Like every part of the whole entire vibe of the angry black girl and her monster was solid from beginning to end. From her issues at school, besides the very clear political focus on the movie, which I think is fantastic. It was a very clear understanding of that, but like about how she didn't get along at school, and her father, who's oh god, what's his name? He's in The Wire and he's in Walking Dead. He's such an amazing actor. Will you pull it up, Graham? I know his name. I'm just a stupid person. But you know, and you know, she did the main actress or actor Layla De Leon Hayes did such an amazing job, like being like a real person who is like a real smart person dealing with like literally tragedies like at every step, whether it be being told to shut up by her teacher, which is very real thing for even myself, and you know what I mean. And so like to the terrible Chad Coleman, such a great actor and such a powerful role in everything he does. And I don't know, I can't say enough about the angry black girl and her monster and what it brought. But for a first thing, Bomani J's Story brings in such an energy that the movie is like a character in itself, and that is like such a hard thing to do. You know what I mean? Like there's only a certain amount of directors who can really do that. I mean, like Wes Anderson is a great example of somebody who made the movie is a character. You know what I mean? Like the background is a character. And we're very fortunate to have this movie this year. And if people haven't seen it, you need to go see this movie because I really think
See it immediately.
And I thought he did one of the most bold things, especially for a debut director, is in the movie, it's not hard to figure out. It's not really a spoiler or anything, but whatever. But it takes place in such a realistic universe that's so similar to ours that there are names dropped of like real scientists and real theories and all this stuff, and not once is Mary Shelley and Frankenstein mentioned.
Right.
But
in the movie, it's like it doesn't exist in that universe.
It doesn't
so
have
that
to.
When certain things happen in the movie, it's more it makes more sense too. It feels more complete and in that universe. And to do something that kind of, I thought it was mad bold.
Yeah.
Right.
And a totally different way of doing things, and really just a fucking smart and cool way of doing it. Like,
And honestly, I've also seen a lot of like quote unquote Frankenstein stories. Like, I guess is the best way to say it, because like there's multiple varieties of that type of story, and I've seen a lot of different varieties. And to be honest with you, there's very few that I dislike, but most of them I like just enjoy. Like most of them, I'm just like, yeah, that was a cool Frankenstein story. But this one is such a cool twist on it. And Bomani J's story coming out of the gate, first time with that movie.
Love it.
Yeah, there's no way. Like it was a stat category, but there's like, I feel like there's no way that we could have given it to anybody, but them. But yeah, speaking of directors, Ryan, the goddamn director of the year, what do you got for us?
Well, first we're going to start out with the amazing Ted Geoghegan, who did Brooklyn 45. Brooklyn 45 is one of our favorite films of the year. We did a whole episode review on it. Absolutely starring some of the greater actors out there in the independent
starring also
horror.
Another great director, Larry Fessenden.
Yep, and also people like Ezra Buzzington and who's been around the block, and it was Jeremy Holm, who was the Ranger, and really just a great assortment of things, and really like just an absolute fantastic like assortment, and it was like a play, and boy is that fun. Boy, could literally any of these won. Like, I don't want anybody who didn't win to feel, because all of these were some of our favorite movies. Just in general, not even of the year, but just in general. We have Jennifer Reeder, who we've had on the show for her fabulous body horror, like
wildly underrated,
atmospheric bloodbath that was Perpetrator. Absolutely fantastic. Love Perpetrator. Love Jennifer. Our episode with her is one of my favorites. She is the real deal. And then lastly, we have another Jennifer. We have Jennifer Wexler from, I think she might go Jen Wexler. Does she? I don't know. Remember?
Jen Wexler. Yeah,
it's Jen Wexler from the Sacrifice Game. Our late season entry into this whole thing. Jen Wexler is absolutely fabulous. She did The Ranger as well.
Which is cool as hell.
And absolutely fantastic. And like I said, I could literally give this to all three of them. But we are going to give it to Jennifer Reeder. For Perpetrator. Perpetrator was such a great film, and so original and out there, and like I don't know, there was just something like so deep. It was such a deep cut, pardon the pun, but like it was like had enough like body horror and enough blood and enough like psychosis, and Alicia Silverstone was absolutely fantastic in it. Kia,
The whole cast was
yeah,
wonderful.
Kia McCerman was in Perpetrator, and she was I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, but she was absolutely fantastic. The whole thing played out really well, had such great atmosphere and such a great story. Yeah, Jennifer was really able to put together an absolutely fantastic film, and so congratulations, Jennifer. Hopefully we talk to you soon. And that brings us to best goddamn kill of the year.
Fuck
Ooh,
yeah.
This one, dude, we went back and forth a lot for this category, and we actually have 4 nominees on this one. There was some kills this year. Whew, there were definitely some just absolute bangers. We're going to start it off, and by the way, also spoiler alert for any of these movies, because we are going to be talking about some of the kills on them. They're pretty significant kills. So we have the first one here. We got the self-knife stab from Talk to Me.
So good.
So good.
And that one, man, that one's not only just so good, but also the way that it happens, and like it just everything about it, like the way that killed, like everything surrounding it, the way that it's pulled off, the setup,
really
it's just
great.
fantastic. Also on the same category, we have the self-axe to the face, which is from the absolutely wild movie When Evil Lurks. That one is also interesting because it kind of is on the cover. Like, you know what I mean?
People are trying to get mad at that movie about that being a spoiler. I'm like, that's not a spoiler. The fucking showing the scene from Smile when the head comes down
Right.
under in the
That
trailer is a spoiler.
That was definitely
That
more of a
shit-
spoiler.
I didn't even notice that's what was happening. I had just heard so much good shit, I think from Jonas, about When Evil Lurks. And I was like,
yeah, I wouldn't shut the fuck up.
I saw
about it.
the poster, and I saw quickly just red and black silhouette and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's a pilgrim running with an axe or something. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And when it happened, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck. That's the cover.
Yeah. That's the whole thing.
So it wasn't a spoiler for me. And even if it had been, like, that spoiler does not show you the intenseness of that fucking kill.
That's also, like, I think all the kills in that movie, especially, like, you don't really get to prepare for those. They're just there. Like, those are just, you're gonna have to go for that ride.
Exactly.
The third one kind of speaks for itself. The melt machine in Kids vs. Aliens.
That's my favorite. They melt people for fuel.
Yeah, which is like a very bad taste vibe, like where they grind people up in bad taste and make them into hamburgers. Just much better budget on this one. Melt Machine from Kids vs. Aliens. And then another movie, this is our fourth nominee, is another movie that was full of some really fucking good kills, and that is the log kill from Thanksgiving. We
had to give at least one to Thanksgiving because it was pretty much just pure kills.
I could have picked that. I could have picked the trampoline situation because both the trampoline and the oven both made me go and that's so rare because I watch so much horror that we could have
picked Tim Dillon because he's Tim Dillon.
But that log. That log, and then the nose flapping off.
Yeah,
French kiss. Yeah, maybe French kiss, but chef's kiss to whoever put that together.
Especially like for us being practical effects junkies, it was just like that was just beautiful, beautiful work, guys. Absolutely. That being said, the winner of this one, we just gushed about the log kill, but it ain't that one. It's the self-axe wound to the face. When Evil Lurks.
Yeah,
man,
the one that was spoiled. Jerks.
I couldn't enjoy it anymore. It was so good. It was so like even though kind of maybe thinking it was coming or something was about to happen or whatever, like the way that it played out and like the way it was directed and the way it was shot, and just there was just like a matter of factness about it too. That was just like, and it was just like so sudden and so everything like that it was actually like a gasp moment. And if you can still make people who literally watch horror movies every single day, who have literally watched every like horror murder from crap like like Serbian film and blah 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 blah, all the way to it and to trauma and blah blah, you know what I mean, and all the Evil Deads and everything. If you can still make us all go, like, you know what I mean, like it's
a big win.
It's a big win, and that one was just good, and it's and there's just
there was something about the way it was done at first, right when it's happening with so much gusto, and then as the continuation goes, they're losing speed because they're losing life, and just that like slow down and like out of it also was hard to deal with.
Yep.
Like usually you're like, oh, this is going to ease me out, but no, it kept getting more uneasy.
Yep.
The less violent it got, it was weird.
It also like it to me, that kill had the Hereditary effect, meaning that when it happened, you kind of just froze.
Yeah,
it was just one of those ones. My door is creaking in the background because since we're talking about creepy shit, my cat Avery is like, I'm gonna creak the fuck out of this door right now.
Right.
It's like,
hell so yeah, creepy Avery.
He's creeping it out. But yeah, that's what happened when that kill happened. I straight up like jaw to the floor. I was just like, fuck. So yeah, it had to be that one. But the next category is the goddamn actor of the year, and that one's for you, Ryan.
Goddamn actor of the year. Oh yeah, it's right back to me. Let's see. Let's go down greatest goddamn actors of the year. We're gonna first start off with we're gonna start going around about the movies that we've seen that we've already talked about a little bit coming in now. So we are gonna go first. Best actor of the year is and we, by the way, we have degendered actors. We're just doing best actor of the year. We're just now it's just the best. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
it just turns out that they're all women that got
exactly.
Pick it up, boys.
First, we're going to start off with,
don't like it, deal with it, motherfucker.
First of all, we're going to start with Madison Baines from The Sacrifice Game.
Yeah.
As the protagonist in the story, she did such a great job, and the way, and she was so utterly likable and good that it made the ending of the movie totally feasible and good because she was able to carry that movie like that. There's a lot of good acting in Sacrifice Game, and a lot of people who are acting a specific way that helps the movie along itself. But Madison's like likability and sort of like, I don't want to say like good person thing makes the whole thing a lot more like by the ending you can really grasp onto what's going. It's a real nuanced role, really big, really great work, Madison. Second, we have veteran Alicia Silverstone for her acting and Perpetrator. We've been really excited about Alicia. You know, she was in The Lodge and things like that. And these roles that she's choosing now are just so absolutely fantastic and just such a great part of it's great to see somebody who was like a pop actor for a long time start to just do like these
cool shit,
you know what I mean, and like in like independent horror, you know they're probably not getting the massive paycheck, but and all the glitz and glamour and all that, but they're there because they enjoy art, and she, and both in The Lodge and her short part of The Lodge and in Perpetrator, as she's the main character, Alicia Silverstone gives 110%, and it's really clear.
In The Lodge, she actually also had the Hereditary effect for me. Her,
a little bit.
Her final scene is what I will call it. I just kind of was looking at the screen like, oh fuck, like what? Like it was one of those things where I was like, there's like a lot of movie left.
Yeah, exactly.
I think her performance is my personal favorite of the year. Just to see, she just embodied that character so perfectly, and I didn't see it coming, and it was great. Sorry, continue.
We have 4 in this category as well because we couldn't narrow it down. We refused to.
It was a tough category.
Sometimes we make the rules, and and this is how it plays out. Layla Delon Hayes for the Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. We've already talked about. I mean, honestly, she brought that role to life, and was very real and very amazing. And then finally, we have Kia McKernman for Perpetrator. I really hope I'm pronouncing her name right. She was absolutely fantastic, and yet again, just another solid. So, you guys ready for this?
We got
this
one.
We had to split it. All right, we had to split it. We couldn't narrow it down. I'm sorry. What? Like I said, we make the rules. The winners are Madison Baines from The Sacrifice Game and Layla DeLeon Hayes from The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Both energies were brought. I couldn't pick between either one of them. Absolutely fantastic films, both of them. Absolutely helped carry by these fantastic leading actors, and really couldn't really could have given it to any of them, and but like those two specifically, as we've spoken to before, were absolutely fantastic performances. And and I really think like the nuanced energy that they bring to it, and kind of oppositely for each actor that won, we're both like really like when I look at best goddamn actor, I have to look at like did their role not were they just good at acting? Did it make the movie better? You know what I mean? Yeah. And both of them brought in what they needed to do.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
Okay. And
we got two categories coming up next, and they're both for Graham.
Oh snap! All right. Well, the first one is goddamn foreign horror film of the year.
That sounds like not okay. Just so you know, we'll just say the best foreign goddamn movie of the year. Let's just say that. Saying goddamn foreign just sounds like something that was said to my mom.
It only sounds,
you know what I mean?
It only sounds bad when it's sequestered like that.
The best GD foreign film. All right, so we got When Evil Lurks from Argentina. And holy shit, there's not much more we can say about that movie, I don't think, except if you've seen it and you don't know what it was inspired by, look up the interview with Damien Rugna, where he explains what the movie was inspired by, and it's fucking cool. I mean, it's not cool, but like it's really it sheds a lot of light onto that. Piggy from Spain, which was one of my goddamn favorites. An overweight young lady is bullied and then runs into sort of a tough situation where some of the bullies she sees gets taken by a bad guy. It's fucking awesome. It looks like it looks like it could turn some people away just at first glance, but fucking watch it. It's really, really intense, and the third act is amazing. Jesuera, the Bone Woman from Mexico, is just a really fucking cool woman gets pregnant, and then she's worried about being evil spirits. It's a pretty basic being scared of being pregnant type movie, but
it's got some body horror and some other things in it.
Oh, it sure does. Yeah. No, it's really really done intensely.
I love that movie. Yeah.
Me too.
Basic-ish premise, absolutely awesome execution.
Yep.
Yeah. And so the winner is When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
that was unbeatable.
I feel bad for other movies kind of coming up against
every
that
other
because
movie
because it was a like a punch in the gut. It was seriously one of the better movies I've seen, regardless of horror, in any year is When Evil
Straight
Lurks.
up.
You know what I mean? And
From acting to direction to set or whatever, you know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
everything.
It was a late entry too, so it was one of those ones where we had so many good movies all year, especially foreign ones. And then When Evil Lurk just kind of like shimmies in there at the very last, like towards the finish line there. It was like, hey, guess what? I'm gonna knock all of you out. Like it was just like
that shit hit
whew.
me with like a fucking cricket bat.
Yeah.
That was no
Cricket
shimmying with that. I got clocked.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's like both When Evil Lurks and Sacrifice Game, both are like, oh, we're end of the year and you think you know what's up, and then they both just like pounced, you know what I mean? You're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I thought I liked this movie, but now, you know what I mean? Like it was really great. I was just watching the dog scene earlier today just because I had a while, and
Oh, yeah, you know, just for fun. Like
just well, I like how they, you know, I like how that movie put things together, and you know, the movie making there was incredible because you don't know what's happening and you're imagining
and it
something
still flows.
and right, and you in that scene you're like, what's going on, and like the kids pointing and stuff like that, and then when they actually show it, it's still even like worse than what you thought in your mind. So it's like they did an amazing job with that.
And there is also, I want to mention this because we're talking about foreign horror on this one. There's one that we kind of have to give an honorable mention to.
Wait, this is breaking news.
It is breaking news.
It's Jonas is coming in with breaking news, I believe.
It is
So
breaking news.
It's oh my gosh, I think we have a tie.
We do have a tie on this one actually. This is another one swinging around.
This breaking news.
Swinging around on the fourth one. And that's Satanic Hispanics.
Yeah.
And we couldn't not give this one also the tie because, like, you know, it's 5 directors, it's 5 different stories, and they're all vastly different visions of these different stories from Hispanic directors. So like you have all of these different parts of Central America and all of these different parts of, you know, Hispanic lore, and you have everything from comedies to body horrors to just like straight up mythical horror. And it's so many different voices that there's no way that we also couldn't give it to that. You know, it's just it's kind of like the best of all worlds when it comes to foreign horror, just because there's so much cool shit that's going on.
And I think as an anthology, it's, you know, it
deserves
it's, you know, it can also be foreign. Yeah, best foreign GD movie of the year.
You know what? We'll give it its own little thing. Best anthology, best goddamn foreign anthology like of the year.
Right.
But yeah, it's cool because I don't like. Have both of you guys seen this? Because I know I have, and I know like it's one of those movies that kind of came out. It had a weird release. It had a very limited theatrical release, and it's kind of one of those movies that I think deserved a much bigger release than it got, because there's really a little bit of everything for everybody in that, you know. So to all the directors and to everybody involved with that one, just absolutely fuck yeah. So,
and we really do love foreign horror. You know, I feel like we're really, you know, shout out to Shudder for really showcasing independent and foreign horror. You know what I mean?
Shudder and Screambox, by the way. Screambox has been throwing out some big foreign horror. Yeah,
and you know, we're lucky to see that because we didn't always get to see that. You know what I mean? And boy, to think that we could have missed out on things like When Evil Lurks, and you know, and you know what I mean, just because you know, they do, like, some organization didn't think it was going to play well enough in the suburbs or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting like real horror stuff now, and it makes me wonder what all we've missed. Hit us up, if you know any great foreign horror from a long time ago.
By the way, real quick on Satanic Hispanics, I just want to say this last thing. You know, we had Gigi Salguero on the show, and her entry in the Juarez is really great. It's the best one out of all of them. But I do want to give a special shout out to the Hammer of Zanzibar, because that one is hilarious. It's full splattery comedy horror, and yeah, it's definitely the other one that I feel like you really have to keep your eye out for, because that entry is fucking fantastic.
Awesome.
All right.
Goddamn sci-fi of the year. That's yours.
Goddamn sci-fi of the year. We can go back to swearing at genres. Subgenres. Kids versus Aliens. It's I can't remember the director's name, but he's really awesome. And he it's based on one of the VHS shorts that he did. It's kind of the same thing, just blown up and made way better and way cooler and way much more fun. And it's got the melt machine, and it's got pro wrestling in it, and it's got kids versus high school kids, which is the fucking best. I love that kind of shit. And then fucking aliens, boom, it's top tier shit.
It's got kids versus aliens. It's got fucking assholes versus aliens. It's got
wrestlers versus high schoolers.
Right.
A lot of verses. Infinity Pool. Couldn't really let this go by. This is some fucking Cronenbergian sci-fi shit that I fucking loved. It got mixed reviews, I guess, and that doesn't surprise me, but a lot of people that I thought would dig it way more, I think they were trying to be too like, I'm too smart for Brandon now. But that shit is fucking genius.
Fuck out of here with that.
We're gonna get the fuck out of here. Brandon Cronenberg is like such an amazing creator. Yeah, and seriously, like taking his father's vision and just like going the next both his movies with not perpetrator with
Possessor,
yeah. And with thank you, the it's all shadows up there, guys. It's
a lot of P movies.
Yeah, I'm like an effigy hanging on a stick. You know what I mean? That's just pumping out knowledge. But between Perpetrator and Infinity Pool is such a wild movie, and it's put together so well that it's like that movie could easily be ridiculous, and it's fully not at all. And like, just like the coming up with that concept. You know what I mean? Like
the concept's wild
of like executing yourself, you know what I mean? And then so people start doing it so they can just like execute themselves. And it's like, and it's you has all your memories. It has all, so you're literally killing a version of yourself. I mean, it's just some deep shit, you know what I mean? And it's like, And I mean, anybody who doesn't like that movie, like, I mean, fundamentally every level, like, I think this is just really, really great movie making. And I mean, of course, like incredibly solid horror, and also like deep cuts, you know what I mean? And
I will say that Infinity Pool does get the goddamn cum scene of the year, just so you know. Like that's it definitely does get that.
Right.
And we also had The Breach, which was just fucking fantastic. I think it was from Canada, but I could be wrong there.
Boy, if you haven't watched The Breach, go watch The Breach. The Breach turns like it turns into like almost a couple different genres of movie within it, and it's
I loved it so
turns
much.
Into dope. Like I just caught it just like flipping through. I think it's on Amazon, and I just caught it like flipping through, and was like, oh yeah, this looks pretty cool. And then all of a sudden was like, oh wait, this is rad. And you know what I mean? You know, it was like, I was watching it and I was like, oh, this is so good.
The opening boat scene, and I was like, oh, this is different than what I thought.
Yeah, and then but then it like flips around into something different.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, I don't know. It's just like a really cool movie. I love The Breach. I'd like to talk to the director sometime on the show and kind of break it down. Please go check out The Breach. Like it's out there. Search for it on the streaming things and give it a watch. I don't think it's gotten a lot of watch, but it's absolutely fantastic. And it deserves like, it's not just some crappy, I don't want to say the crappy, but like it's not just like, you know, you're just like, oh, The Breach, and it's just going to be this kind of movie, stuff like that. And it's not like that at all. It's very, very good. And it's also like one of those things that like you're like, wow, you came up with this and like you implemented it, and it's clear and it's concise, and it's downright creepy in spots, and like
for sure,
you know what I mean? And it's just like, and also like we're big body horror fans on this podcast. You know what I mean? And Perpetrator was some body horror, and The Breach was some body horror. And if you could pull that off where it's good, whew, you got me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've said you've done a good movie because it's a very specific, nuanced window you have to hit with body horror, and The Breach nails it. So good on The Breach.
And the winner is Kids versus Aliens.
Yes.
Yeah,
because fucking aliens
versus kids. Like you had.
Yeah. That was literally, I saw
sci-fi.
that movie. I remember it came out early too. It came out, I think, in February. And I was like, I had just seen Cocaine Bear, and I was like, well, nothing's gonna beat Cocaine Bear this year. And then I saw that, and I was like, well, that just wiped the floor with Cocaine Bear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking perfect alien invasion movie to me. It's exactly what I want.
It turns out Cocaine Bear was like the measuring stick for like really fucking kick-ass movies this year. And holy fucking shit, did the rest of the year be like, cool, I got you.
I forgot about Cocaine.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about Cocaine Bear, and like I kind of forgot that was even this year. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like because I mean, like I like Cocaine Bear. Yeah, I mean, because you're ridiculous not to like Cocaine Bear.
Bear.
Because it's Cocaine Bear. It's one of Ray Liotta's last movies. It's about a bear does cocaine.
It's Ray Liotta doing.
Well, not the Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta ruled, but
yeah, you know, it's a Cocaine Bear, and we loved it, but it didn't really make the sorry, Cocaine
That's
Bear.
all right. It's all right. Yeah, Cocaine Bear, you fucking came out swinging, but boy, did the rest of the year step up to you.
Yeah, right. It was like, yeah.
So we got a fucking cool one here. This is a category that I couldn't even do any nominations for because there's so much that came out. But there's one piece of goddamn physical media of the year that stood out above the rest. And before I tell you what the winner is, I do want to say one runner-up. And the one runner-up is the Talk to Me special edition that came with the hand. The only reason that one didn't win is because it is very hard to get. It's also gigantic. It's huge. Like it takes up an entire fucking desk. But that being said, if you're a super fan of Talk to Me, definitely get that special edition. You do have to get it from Australia though. Like it's actually an Australia only type of thing. So that was really the only reason that one didn't win. This one also wins because of what was put into it. Also because it has some stuff in it that we were waiting for as physical media fans and also as fans of this franchise. That's the Hellraiser Quartet of Torment Arrow Video 4K release. And this thing is so cool because like you've got this going on, you've got the cover, you've got the first 4 films, you've got the work print of the 4th film, which is something that nobody had really seen. It completely changes the movie and it shows you what the movie was supposed to be before there was studio interference. There's a novel included. Each one of the transfers is incredible. It looks good on a shelf. The packaging is bar none one of the best packagings I've ever had for any sets. It's from Arrow Video. It's 4K, so it's region free. So as long as you have a 4K player, you can play it. It's not like region locked or anything. And it's also, I mean, for what it is, it's pretty affordable. Like, you know, it's only going right now for, I want to say $65-$70, which is really not bad for what this is. Just, you can tell that a lot of like detail and a lot of heart went into this one. And it's definitely something that's made for people that do love the Hellraiser franchise. And also it's the first 4 movies, which are the best ones aside from the new one. So like, you don't need the rest of the Hellraiser movies. Dimension didn't even need the rest of the Hellraiser movies. They just made them. So like,
sure.
You know, these are the 4 that you need if you're a Hellraiser fan. So
right.
Yeah, Hellraiser Quartet of Torment. That one's going to take the goddamn physical media of the year. If you want to get it, you can get it on Orbit DVD, Diabolic DVD, or arrowvideo.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to best goddamn comedy horror of the year. We're gonna start. Yeah,
there are some really funny fucking movies this year.
We're gonna start off with totally the first two, and this I love it because they're so self-aware. We're gonna start off with Totally Killer. Totally Killer was a super fun.
Back to the Future slasher.
Back to the Future slasher, which they literally mentioned like 10 times.
Yeah.
She's like, "Have you seen Back to the Future? That's what's going on here." And I love that. You know what I mean? And that was super good. Fun. And they were able to mix that in with a slasher, which was absolutely fantastic. And
it's a fucking scene in a Gravitron.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's like something like we all dreamed of when we've been in the Gravitron. The second is the Slaughterhouse film because and
it should not have been as good as it was.
It's so
anyway.
It's so absolutely great and so absolutely hilarious. And like the thing about the thing that I really like as a comedian loved about Slaughterhouse is that the bit could have been burnt pretty quick. You know
so
what I mean?
It's like, almost always the case in those kind of stunt
exactly
gimmicks and stuff. Yeah,
zombie beavers,
all of that sort of stuff. But Slaughterhouse, like they just kept. There are scenes that I later in the movie that I absolutely like laughed at, like the fact that the sloth has a Instagram, and the fact that it drives a car.
Alpha was just absolute. The best,
and just super funny. And
shout out to Ashley Ketchum. She's mad at me for not having Alpha on every category.
Friend of the show, Ashley Ketchum. So Slaughterhouse, we really absolutely loved. We have another entry from we have Sorry About the Demon, Emily Hagen, who was
so funny,
and so good,
and just delightful.
It's delightful. It's a delightful movie. It almost kind of plays out like a almost English comedy. Like it's super funny. It's super good. It's the guy is just finally like, what?
It's cheeky.
It's cheeky. Yeah, exactly. It's totally cheeky. And then lastly, we have the major motion picture Renfield, with that stars Nicolas Cage and
Holt
and Holt from Fury
Menu.
Road. Yeah, and the Menu and all of that. And what a good
also Aquafina.
Yep. And really like we got to give Renfield some love for a couple reasons. One is that Nicolas Cage has wanted to play Dracula forever, and Dracula and Batman were Nicolas Cage's, and Superman are Nicolas Cage's like dream jobs, right? And so him getting to play Dracula, he gave like 110% to that role, and that's why it was so good. It's funny, it is action packed, it's an action horror, which I love, it's a comedy horror, which I love, and then lastly, ska. There's a lot of ska, they are a ska gang, which which makes me kind of side with them a little bit. You know what I mean? It's hard when the antagonists are good guys. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Like
it's so hard.
I mean, because there are like Specials lyrics written on the wall. I mean, like, and if you don't know about the Specials, boy, you should. So there was a lot of ska in the situation, and so we loved Renfield. It's a great movie. I actually watch it. I put it on a lot when like I'm like doing stuff in the house and stuff like that because it's just kind of such a fun movie. And
I want to mention something about Renfield that it got shit for, and I have to call bullshit on it. It's because it fits perfectly with what the movie is, because the movie is a full-blown horror comedy. And the blood in the movie is CGI, a lot of it. And it's because the kills are way the fuck over the top, and it fits perfectly with the tone of the movie. So if it's if you read a review on it or see some shit like that where people are shitting on the CGI blood, this one it fits. So like, get the fuck out of here with that. Like,
it's also somebody's arm off major and then motion picture CGI. Fuck it. I'm not. There aren't a lot of major motion pictures that are doing practical effects right. So
yeah, I mean, and it's like yeah, you know, maybe I'm getting old, maybe it's just acceptance, but I get it. Even when what's his name who was on the show, who makes the masks, who works with Savini,
Jason Baker.
Jason Baker, he even said you know, there's a time and a place for it. You know what I mean? Like it's like
this is the time and the place.
This is the time and the place.
Totally.
Yeah, and I mean, there's just not a there's just sometimes there's just not a. It's just going to happen, and that's just going to be
the audience they were going for wasn't going to tag him on that.
Right. Yeah. Unless you're the movie Revenge, you're not going to be able to use this amount of practical blood. Like there was
exactly
so much blood. Like
exactly.
So, yeah.
And the winner of this category is. Sorry about the demon from director writer Emily Higgins. We talked about this a lot, and then finally, like with the energy of our show and with how great Emily is and everything, we have to give it to Emily for being such a fantastic like representation of like what's good in film. Like the whole entire thing is so funny. It's so good, and it's so like true horror. It's as funny and as silly as an Evil Dead 2 kind of situation, but also like has a lot of heart. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And was
the lead dude is fucking great. I fall in love with him right away.
John Michael Simpson. Yeah, he's absolutely great. And everybody in the show is great. And it's just funny how they kind of come through it all, and the people who rented out the house and stuff like that. And if you haven't seen Sorry About the Demon, please go see it. It is fun as hell, and it just kind of reminds me of an era of film of like watching some like Harold and Maude, or like it's just like that vibe, and
it's a better version of what was that? We Have a Ghost.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a kind of a fun movie, and I couldn't suggest it more. So please go check it out.
Agreed.
Shout out to Emily Higgins for
congratulations.
Congratulations for being awesome. Go check out our episode with her. She is proper. So
fuck yeah.
And that brings us to Jonas. Are you ready to give us best goddamn extreme movie of the year? Nobody else could do this category like you can.
No, as the resident patriarch of the Grindhouse on AGHP, I feel like this is my category for sure. Extreme horror. There was actually a lot of stuff that came out this year that was definitely on the extreme side of things, and this was also a category that was hard to narrow down, because the stuff that was out that was in the extreme horror category, all of it was good, like really legitimately good. And we're starting off with one that's coming out of Australia. We're talking Beaten to Death.
Yeah, one of my favorites, Sam Curtin.
Holy first shit. Off, Sam fucking rules. Like, Sam is a fucking great dude. But also, a movie could not be more truer to its title if it tried. Like, this is a movie that is
spells it out, but then it hands it to you beautifully.
Oh, it's unrelenting. Like it's one of those ones that, like, if you walk into a movie called Beaten to Death and you're expecting anything else, this is not the movie for you. This is a movie that is all about being beaten to death. So everything from the fucking poster to the movie.
God, I love everything. That poster too.
Everything, yeah. Then the next one, which was one we also wrestled with here, Project Wolf Hunting. Dude, this one, I would not shut the fuck up about that movie, because it was one that I saw, I don't know, like midway through the year. And
neither will my wife.
Oh, man.
She loves it. It's her favorite movie now.
It's
no joke. She's asked to watch it 3 times this week.
That kind of came across as like, oh, my wife.
I was going for that. I was going.
My wife. Like, yeah. We have Graham doing the Borat for this one.
I've done the Borat, and Ryan cringed at me. So
this time it fit.
No Borat, no Schwarzenegger, no. I am good with just none of those.
No Christopher Walkens.
If you
I
could
can't
pull off
do
like a
walking.
proper walk-in, I could
Yeah,
probably
walking's hard.
let you get away with it. But as far as like, nah, just like sitting
Yeah,
here, like trying to bust out like bad overused impersonations is just the worst. No,
we don't do that.
We don't do that
fucking
here.
do that here.
We don't do that.
I do it
No,
ironically.
Project Wolf Hunting it's multiple genres mashed together. It's
Oh,
action.
oh, can I say it said action, crime, sci-fi, horror. That was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
four that was listed, and it delivered on all of those.
Yeah. There's like a little bit of
I would also say
there's a
like
little-
gore and like extreme. Like I would also put it in like
yeah. 100%.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like it's a Korean horror. It's it's got a little bit of Con Air, but like on a container ship. It's got a little bit of Predator. It's got a little bit of body horror. It's got but the blood and the gore and the kills and the entire like tone of the movie, extreme.
Unrelenting too. It's just
Yeah.
nonstop bloodshed.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the third one on that one's going to be Lockdown Tower. This is another one that kind of snuck in. Like we all of us watched it on that one was one that was on Shudder, I believe.
Yep. French.
And holy fucking shit. Like
It's
that one
it's
is
like
another-
it's like La Tour in French, and
yeah.
it's a French film, and then Lockdown Tower is like the American name for it. And
yeah.
talk about a movie that
Did the bait and switch with sci-fi a little bit.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
and then really just like sociology, and it's a deep cut of a film, and it is really like I'm
leans
still
on
recovering. Yeah, it really does. Just from like, like movies like Martyrs and things like that are really rough and will haunt you for days. And, and they're like, oh, okay, that's really tough. But this movie, the sad thing is it kind of scratches into like something sort of real, and the ugliness,
sort of bigger.
Yeah, and sort of bigger, and the ugliness of things that on this show that we desperately would love to use our small stage to eliminate in this world, and it really kind of like it shines a light on that in a very barbaric way, but also like when I say barbaric, it's also subtle. You know what I mean? Like it's you know what I mean? Like it's not like, I mean, it's barbaric, and like it's not hiding anything either, but it's also not like it's not like
your mind is spinning the whole time.
Exactly. And it's like and everybody's good and everybody's bad, and it's really a quite a fucking film. So
Yeah. Now, with everything we've talked about with the extreme films, the winner of this one is, and absolutely has to be, Beaten to Death.
Fuck yeah.
It's like,
fuck yeah.
There's like, it's crazy because like Project Wolf Hunting was wild, Lockdown Tower was wild. Fucking, there's nothing that embodies an extreme horror film, especially one that I feel like is accessible to more of an audience than a lot of extreme films would be, than Beaten to Death, because the way it
really
starts all the way to the last fucking frame is just, it's brutality to a degree that is almost unheard of.
It's full on survival, or it's full on extreme. God, that's one of the movies that, again, like knocked every other movie off the table when it came out, and I saw it. I was like, oh, this is the best movie.
Right.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking
and I
like
saw it at a festival, and I was telling these guys about it for so long. We finally got to see it all together and stuff, and yeah, fucking love that movie
like,
so much.
Everything from the way that it was filmed to the actual like film itself that was used, like you could feel how hot it was, you could feel how grimy it was, you could practically smell it. Like it had like everything about it. It had just like everything to grab onto, and like I said, Sam Curtin, fucking man, I don't know what went on in your life, buddy. We talked to you for a long time, and I still don't know what it is that you went through that made you make this movie. But,
right.
But thank you. Whatever it was, thank you, because it's fucking wild. And also, I'm good with a movie that delivers exactly on its title. Like, fucking, you know what? Yeah, this is beaten to death. So on to the next category, which is the opposite of extreme horror. It's the not horror.
Not horror.
So it's the not horror category. This one we got 3 different ones. The first one,
we should explain it, what it is. You know what I mean? Like what not horror movie is. It's movies that like my favorite movie of all time is RoboCop, which is not a horror movie, but no, I mean, enough. Like it's enough of a horror movie that like it has the horror movie stuff. You know what I mean? Like
mine's Fury Road, but it's
exactly. And it's just like, it just has, and oftentimes they're action movies. Sometimes they can be like brutal dramas, you know what I mean? A lot of different things, but I would say Clockwork Orange, arguably a horror movie. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like elements, but I do believe that in and of itself that Clockwork Orange falls into this category of it's not horror. That's horror. You know what I mean? Like it's you know, it's because we're all gonna like if you like horror movies, if you like Evil Dead, you probably like Ricky O. And you probably like RoboCop. You know what I mean? So like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like those, and neither of those movies are horror movies, but they're enough like a horror movie. Like,
right.
Yeah. So
Natural Born Killers, Requiem for a Dream, stuff like that, where it's like, it fits into those things where it's kind of a little bit, you know, like it's not a horror, but it's kind of a fucking horror. And like, that's what these are.
Yep.
The first one is Sisu. Which if you guys haven't seen Sisu, but you like to see a guy kill the fuck out of some Nazis, well then Sisu is your movie. Like it's
in excellent ways.
It's fantastic, gory.
It's Finnish, right?
Yeah,
and it stars the same guy who's the father in what's the Christmas movie where they
Rare Exports,
and it's just absolutely, if you want to watch Nobody, Reacher, John Wick, blah, 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 just break Nazi necks, Sisu is the movie for you, because it's just one after another. You know what I mean? So it's like
just
so satisfying.
Yeah.
To break it down, this is the storyline. He's a gold prospector. Nazis find him and say, "Give us your gold," and he says, "Hey, fuck you," with knives. That's what he does.
and landmines and all sorts of like.
And also, by the way, positive spoiler alert here: the dog lives.
Yep.
Just to throw it out there, in case anybody sees the dog in the beginning of the movie and feels like they're going to be triggered, you won't be. The dog makes it. So next one, Wrath of Becky. Wrath of Becky, man.
Continuing that Becky. That Becky vibe.
Verse? Yeah, is it going to be a Becky verse? I don't know. We'll see. Wrath of Becky was fucking awesome. It was, and like that one also kind of like definitely toes the line of like a comedy horror or like an action horror or like but not quite a horror.
It definitely has survival horror elements to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
kind of like Home Alone. You know,
like exactly. Right.
Which is also kind of a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a horror movie. So. But yeah, Wrath of Becky, Lulu Wilson fucking rules. Sean William Scott playing Proud Boy Stifler. Like, you know what? Listen, I'm all for this Beckyverse taking people that are in comedies and turning them into fucking awful right wingers.
Yeah,
keep doing that.
And then just straight up murdering them,
slaughtering them.
Yeah. Like I rewatched Wrath of Becky not too long ago, and I'll tell you, they are really just the best films. They are just, but both films are freaking great. The dogs, there's some challenging dog moments in it, but like I've always said, I like horror movie dogs because they go down like champs. You know what I mean? Like people, right? Yep. Like people get sad about the dogs, and I am of course sad about dogs because I absolutely love dogs and cats, and like so much. I love both, and they're both. But like like a dog goes out like a dog. You know what I mean? Like dog doesn't care. Humans run and hide. Dogs are like, nope. I seen some weird wind blowing in the laundry.
I'm gonna go get it.
I'm gonna
dogs
handle
go
it.
Biting.
to go out and handle this stuff. And that's what makes a dog so great is their loyalty and their love. And it's why humans in them are so great because they're such sweet, beautiful freaking animals. And they do that. And sometimes they just got to own some shit. You know what I mean? Whether it be a demon, whether it be a serial killer, whether it be like, the dog is the dog. You know what I mean? And they love it. And that's why we love them. And so I don't, like if a dog dies in a movie, I'm like, you know what? Hey, it's fucking fake. Okay, like let's be real. With the exception of a few movies that I'm not gonna even say that I'm not even interested in watching, and like the dog doesn't really die. You know what I mean? Like it's like that dog is better taken care of than your dog. So I mean, I guarantee that dog is pampered and fed a thing because that is a meal ticket for somebody.
That dog shift is just over. That's
the
all.
dog shift is just over. They're just like,
home.
okay, you've just done the thing, but like on a storytelling thing, man, dog shows up. You know what I mean? Shows up, and goddamn, that's why we love dogs, right?
Fuck yeah, dude. Especially that one.
Yeah.
And then the third nominee in this one is kind of a no-brainer. John Wick 4. Like, come on, like all
closing
the John Wick.
out, possibly. I'm not sure. They're probably going to keep going, but
yeah, I don't know.
They keep saying it's over, but like, and they haven't like, I don't know, like
it's up to Keanu Reeves. It legitimately is up to Keanu Reeves. If he wants to do a fifth one, and this is what Keanu Reeves said. If they give me a script that makes it workable and makes it to where it's not like so ridiculously dumb, that he'd probably be down to do it. But as of now, John Wick 4 is the last one. But if they present him with a script that he's willing to do, kind of like, Beetlejuice 2 is coming out this year. And that's only because they finally gave Michael Keaton a script worth a fuck. And he was like, all right, let's do the movie.
Right.
It's,
well,
that's what
regardless, at this point, John Wick is where it's at. And what a fucking perfect series.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
it just got better and better.
Yeah, I fully agree, and I like all of the movies, and they kept one-upping themselves, and the story, the world building in it is absolutely incredible, and you know what I mean, and looks so good. Like the people like working in the things with the tattoos on their hands and like the old school like punch buttons and stuff like that. All of that was beautiful and put together so well, and gave this world such a life that it like you could really feel like it existed. I haven't watched the show, the Continental. Mel Gibson isn't my favorite, so I struggle watching things with him, and so I
forgot he was even in it.
That isn't Mad Max. That isn't like pre-psychotic millionaire Mel Gibson. Australian Mel Gibson.
I will always still watch Machete 2. I'm sorry. I will.
Okay.
Machete kills.
I'm just talking about like I like Australian Mel Gibson more than like Hollywood Mel Gibson. You know what I mean? I probably like Mel Gibson up to like Lethal Weapon 1, and then everything else past that.
It was Lethal Weapon 2 where he wasn't Australian anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? Right. It's like right. So and then of course, the asking if the police officer is a Jew. I could have done without that.
My favorite thing about Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson, is that he has very feminine hair, and that would really piss off current Mel Gibson. Like that would just drive him fucking crazy. Right. So like I'm a fan of that. But no, dude, John Wick 4. I think the body count in that movie is probably at least 1,000. Like there's so many people that get fucking murked in that movie. And two cinematography shout outs in that movie. The multi-body count gun fight, John Wick fight in the German fuck club. That's a great scene. That's a fucking fantastic one. And then also the million step staircase that he just keeps falling down. Like that one. That was one of my favorite scenes only because it was like the point in the movie where the ridiculousness got to where it was like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge type of thing. Because like even the goons were looking at him like, you don't have to keep rolling. Like you can just stand up. And he's just like, nope, just keeps tumbling all the way down to the bottom. He's just like, fuck, I gotta walk up those stairs again.
That part was frustrating.
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I also got to give it a shout out to the fighting in the traffic circle. I think that was absolutely incredible. So, anyways, without further ado,
the winner on that one is Wrath of Becky.
Wrath of Becky. Yeah, Wrath of Becky. we have a killing Nazis thing, a lot like our friend podcast, What's More Metal, where killing Nazis is which
always
would have
gonna
put
win us over.
It gets you extra credit.
gives you extra credit, and Wrath of Becky is just brutal and fun enough to make it. And not that Sisu wasn't in the running, but we have to give it to Wrath of Becky. So
Wrath of Becky also killed more current Nazis, like
Yeah,
Proud
And
Boys.
is doing it like over 2 movies now. So.
yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of her deal. So if Sisu comes out with the second one, we're in it. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before we do the final, the final like flat out horror, we should talk about our MVP.
We got a
of the
couple
year.
some big awards.
We got a couple big ones that are just straight up to a person that we feel like was the MVP of this year just because of everything they did. Which one do you guys wants to drop the name on that one?
You go.
Yeah, go for it, Jonas.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
The MVP of the year is somebody who has put in so much work, has put out so much product this year, part of anthologies, and they came out on the show. They've done the stuff that they've done has been incredible, and they keep making dope stuff. Like they just continue to make dope stuff. It was also one of our favorite guests of this year, and that is Gigi Salguero. Gigi,
Fuck yes, she's
Fuck
cooler
dude.
than you.
Yeah.
she is. She's cooler than all of us. And just the cool factor is one thing, but the fucking work ethic that she has is insane.
It's amazing.
Like she's putting out so much stuff, and she's doing it all across the board. She's doing stuff in America. She's doing stuff in Mexico City. She's doing like actual shows that are like
producing and directing and acting.
she's doing like fucking Twilight Zone style remakes. She's doing anthologies. She's doing full movies, and everything that she's made so far has been just banger after banger after banger. And this year was no exception.
Top notch shit.
Yeah, we had to give her the MVP this year just because everything that she's done has been awesome. And
If not
as
just
fans,
for her VHS entry.
no,
that
it's
shit
VHS,
was
it's Satanic Hispanics.
incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But that could have won her MVP as far as
yeah,
that
just that
shit
alone.
was so cool the
Yeah.
way that was put together. Listen to our
And you
episode with her.
Well, and also like you can tell that she's somebody who is a fan of horror that
Yeah.
is making this stuff. She's not just a director doing a job. Like she gives a fuck. Like
She's
really
got a company
truly
called
gives a
Lucha
fuck.
Gore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
Coolest
I mean,
fucking
come on.
name.
Yeah. So Gigi Salguero, everybody here from AGHP, we fucking love you. Keep making
thank you.
dope shit. Keep being awesome.
Keep
And
being-
we
yep.
can't wait to talk to you again.
Cool. And then we finally have our last thing before movie of the year, goddamn flat out horror of the year. We have Lifetime Achievement Award that we want to.
This one's going to be a shocker.
This one's going to be a shocker.
Who won last year?
Glenn Danzig won last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that
okay.
makes sense. Yeah.
That make,
Yeah.
I mean,
It was the
Danzig-
first, it's the Danzig
things.
Awards.
So the Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Glenn Danzig. Glenn Danzig.
yeah, that makes
I know
sense.
it was
Back
a,
through.
it was a tough one.
Danzig.
He's still Danzig doing Danzig
Fucking wild.
stuff. Making movies. The king of satanic blues metal.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, in all reality, you see pictures of Glenn. For Glenn being Glenn, he is responsible for one of the deepest cut, longest lived art projects ever. You know what I mean? Like, you have to give him credit for he came up with an idea in the late 70s. And boy, has he written that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's very few people who are going to be like, "Yo, did I top this out? Did I, you know what I mean? Yeah." So,
Yep. And also he's still doing comic books with Barotic. Like he's still got his comic book thing. He
Right.
just finally got a physical media release of Death Rider and the House of Vampires. He's fucking signing those. He's doing
I cannot
conventions
wait
again.
to see that.
Yeah, dude. He's listen, I went and saw Danzig in Atlantic City live this year. And say what the fuck you will about Danzig, but he still can
He can still belt it
absolutely,
out.
dude, commanded that stage.
Yeah.
So like all tongue and cheekiness aside, fucking Danzig, he's still going hard.
Yep.
So yeah, we love you, man.
He has
All
like
hail.
in my life, like pretty much him and Tony Hawk have pretty much been as consistent as, because not enough people talk about Tony Hawk's, like there's been no other sports player, no other athlete who has been as famous as he was when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like Tony Hawk was everywhere as a kid, and it's still everywhere. Nobody has kept that up, and I give him a lot of support, and for that. And Danzig has stayed. Like I remember people doing Mother when I was in seventh grade, and I am not a young man. I behave and dress like one, but age wise, I've been around for a minute. And when I was in seventh grade, people were doing Mother when that shit just came out, and he is still that famous. And I got to tell you, as people who work in entertainment, being famous is hard. Staying famous may be harder.
Yeah.
Staying an icon, nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Lifetime Achievement Award for our award ceremony's namesake,
Glenn fucking Danzig. And also he's a cat guy. I gotta keep on saying that. He's a fucking cat guy. And this is a side note for you, Graham. You remember Elias from WWE?
I do.
But he got fired, and now he's coming back as Elijah. And he actually did a video today where he was revealing his new name and his new persona. And would you guess whose fucking song is playing in the background the whole time? It's How the Gods Kill from fucking Danzig playing the whole time. So we like Elijah / Elias now because he's picking good music. So
all right.
Fuck yeah, Danzig.
And that brings us to Graham. Read them off.
The big one.
The goddamn horror film of the year. We've gone over most of these, so I'm just going to read them off. Unless I run into a couple. There's a couple on here. When Evil Lurks. Evil Dead Rise. Beaten to Death. The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. Brooklyn 45. The Sacrifice Game. Perpetrator, Walking Against the Rain. We haven't talked about this one yet. I fucking love this movie much.
It's really great. It's all heart, and it's all heart with
finally saw it.
With it's all heart with monsters. You know what I mean? And
the final scene is just perfect.
It's just perfect. Such a great movie. Really big fan of the whole film. So go check out Walking Against the Grain. Such a cool, just like a little horror film that's just with a minimal cast, and both actors totally bring it, and you're in love with everybody. And
yep. And rounding out with Cobweb.
We also didn't talk about that one.
We haven't talked about Cobweb. I think Cobweb is could have easily been in a lot of these different. If this wasn't such a great year in horror, Cobweb would have been way in my conversation. It's one of my favorite horror movies. It's a horror movie that I just absolutely, it has a little bit of Housebound. It has a little bit of The Boy, right?
Its tone.
It has what's his name, Homelander in it. You know, I mean, being bad guy
Lizzie
dad.
Kaplan.
Yeah, and it's an absolutely fantastic movie, Cobweb, and I just think that it's an absolutely fantastic, just horror film and premise. And it came out right around the same time that Talk to Me came out, if not maybe the same day, and got maybe a little drowned it out by Talk to Me at the time, but I went back and watched Cobweb, and I've watched it 2 times since, and I just absolutely love it. It's just there's such a twists and turns to it. There's a lot going on. It's like The Boy is oh, there's something spooky here. Is the doll real? This has that same sort of vibe to it, but with a real heavy story cut into it. I don't know, there's just a lot going on, and I absolutely love it. So
can I say one line from that movie that just hit me?
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Okay.
I'm not going to get.
Okay, we'll allow you. We'll allow you to say it. Okay.
I'm not going to give it any backstory or
We're
anything.
gonna allow Jonas to talk.
Yeah, we'll let Jonas
Thank
talk.
you.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much. No, it's just I'm not going to give any backstory on it at all. But the one line that got me is, "What did you do?"
Yeah,
And you know exactly
exactly. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then and in the end, it's it's a monster movie, and I will watch all monster movies. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And last one is Project Wolf Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanna say about all of these, literally any one of them could have won
Easily.
It's a lot that didn't even make the final nominee list could have won.
It was
This was such a fucking cool and very spread out genre wise year.
Yeah.
Like in every genre. Like the Outwaters should have been on here, I think, because it's just an amazing found footage and everybody hates it. But a handful.
No,
of
it had the Skinamarink thing. People either hate it or love it. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Skinamarink made like #1 in Vogue, I think, and we were like, that's weird. But But the winner this year, and this was again hotly debated, but not so much because it could have gone to anybody.
Yeah.
The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's
the motherfucking woo.
I could go down this list and sing the praises of all of these movies on here, and I'm absolutely in love with all of these movies. The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster just hit at such a heavy level that it's just hard to it's hard to compete with it. Like what's going on in it and like the seriousness of the matter, but how well they pull it off and the resources that he came up with and just the amazing film that it is that you left there being like, wow, that was just such a real thing. That
universe felt complete too.
It really did.
Completely felt like I loved it.
And it spoke to real world issues, using, things. And then the fact that it was taken on a classic horror tale just kind of gave it such an extra umph. And I just like all in all, like that, the lead performance, the directing, when you have like best breakout director and you have best actor in a movie for the thing, it's hard to go else because like they were hitting from all levels. The backup characters were great. It was just I just can't say enough great. So
agreed.
Congratulations to Bomani J Story. Sorry, I'm coughing.
That's all right.
Congratulations to him.
Also, like if there's any movie I think that also deserved like a full theatrical release, it was this one. It should have gotten that. And it's one of those movies that, like, on top of everything else that we said, it's also a movie that kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't one that like it just you kind of were looking at looking at Shudder and you're like, oh shit, The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster. I wonder what that is.
It had a great name because it doesn't sound like what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
it could have gone like a really different direction, which was I was expecting. I just saw the name, I had heard nothing about it, and I was like, "This will be fun." It was so much fucking better than fun.
Yeah, it was exactly. It was, fun is the wrong term for it. Not that it wasn't not that it's not like,
the title was kind of like a little cheeky,
Sure, exactly. But when it turns out the title was just straight up, and right, and
which
so
I always love.
Yeah, exactly, and so I'm a big fan of the film and big fan of the directing and acting and the message and the style of the film boy did it hit on every level. Story wise, just from like the depths of story and like and I mean, like from a writer's point of view, like the story is like has like zero fat on it.
Yeah.
And it's still absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I've seen it a couple times, and I really strongly suggest people go out there and watch it right away and give it some positive reviews online because it really needs it. And it's just a great film. And yeah, I think it was just such a great choice. Out of a very, very, very stacked category.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go down this list and be like, but what about Perpetrator? I love Perpetrator.
There's so many.
What about Brooklyn 45? I mean, that was like a play, like a 2-room play. I mean, Evil Dead Rise. I mean, like, God, I can watch that anytime. Walking Against the Rain was like a pure heart, like driven film. It was so good. Cobweb is just like a perfect horror. Project Wolf Hunting is just like nonstop insane.
Perfect action horror.
Perfect action horror. When Evil Lurks is just like at this point like a timeless classic that's almost like universally right. I mean, any single one of these movies could have won any single time. Like but the Angry Black Girl and Her Monster is just such a feat and just such a
perfect one for this time.
Yeah, for this time, and I'm really glad we were able to catch it and watch it and give it this award. So,
and I want to throw this out there as like, because obviously we all support these things. We support horror. We support all of these directors and these actors and these people involved with these things. We like, that's the exact reason why we do this show, is to support these things. So I want to say this to the people that are listening to the show. One of the things that you can do that helps these people that are involved with these movies so fucking much is to go on the internet, go on a Letterboxd and write a fucking review. Write. It can be everything from 2 sentences to a whole fucking paragraph to a novel. It doesn't matter. Just go in there, write your thoughts, put them on there, because those things do help. Like, I've talked to a lot of these filmmakers and stuff, and I kind of even slept on that too, because I didn't fucking know that it actually helped that much. But it really does. Like, it actually helps a lot to get the word out there, and it puts it into algorithms. It puts it up higher up on lists and stuff like that. So if you've seen any of these movies and you want to say your piece about them, fucking do it. Like, put them out there because they need
And I'm
it.
just going to say real quick, I want to, I just came up with this idea now. If you're a Patreon member, you want to write a review for AGHP Letterbox, send it over to me. We'll post it as a guest review.
Yep.
It'll be amazing. I do want to give quick shout outs before we end this real quick. Not only to my mom and Connor and Wesley and Sam and Ryan and Jonas for this year, and my wife Molly and my cats Freddie and Max. You two specifically have helped me again so much this year, mentally and just making me happy. So huge shout out to you guys, and a huge shout out to Jason Daniels for doing the song, doing our music, our intro music, and just for being a rad dude.
Yep. And likewise, shout out to you guys. We can bicker about movies sometimes and things like that, but it's I'd rather bicker with you guys about movies than anything.
Oh, yeah.
And coming off of the end of this holiday season, here we are on the first day of the year. It's time to kind of get this new, and maybe I'll finally get you to really appreciate Speak No Evil. And
don't worry, it's being remade, so fuck it, maybe.
But I hope
legitimately goes, and just I want to say this on the same note as you guys just said. Legitimately been one of the hardest years of my life, so all this has been fantastic. So I would much rather fight with you guys than fight with the ghosts in my head. Let's just, that's much better.
We all had our own personal demons this year, and I got to say that all through it, this podcast was fucking perfect. And we got on the Morbidly Beautiful network. Being networked as a podcast is a huge thing for anybody who doesn't know.
And Morbidly Beautiful has been incredible to us.
They're
support the fuck out of them.
Yeah, and we really do appreciate it. And we have Patreon supporters, and we were invited to go down to Altercation Festival, which if you don't, we talked about it, we said on an episode, but Altercation Festival is a little bit of a big deal. I mean, it's they're like the comedians that are there and the people that are there are the top of the game, and and to be part of that and to be considered in that group is pretty amazing. And
JT legitimately pours blood, sweat, and tears into that. So JT Habersat, fucking everything he does with that is incredible.
Yeah, big ups, and he's been a guest on the show, and he travels with the great Eddie Pepitone. And if they're ever in your town, you are really a fool if you don't go see them.
If they're like a couple towns next to you, fucking make the trek.
Yep. we have seriously such a packed lineup that we had to record 3 episodes this week. So that's not a joke. So please, please tune in, like and subscribe, do all those things. Please go back and listen to our old episodes. We have nothing but better things coming up, and thank you all for tuning in. So much cool shit from all over the arts and entertainment spectrum. We got people in the lineup. We have authors, and we have actors, and we have singers, and we have we got ska guys. We got
directors.
There's lots of directors, lots of different things. So make this your place for make this your third home, and let us know. Speak to us in our Instagram and AGHP 666 on Instagram. And like once I said, we have a Patreon. Throw $1 in there, get some extra shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and until we see you next time, start some fires and break some Glasgow.
Fuck yeah.
No, we just need to skull fuck their craniums into oblivion. I swear to God.